got enough space? We're going to be starting with the lying down body scan, so you might want, if you've got a chair, you might want to get yourself a mat for that part. So, welcome everyone. Will someone mind closing the door? Yeah, get what you need and then... There's a free spot just up here. Maybe we could shift over a little bit. Yeah, if you want to just move over a tiny bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, great. Okay, I think we're all in. So it's like a lot of crowding in that part of the room, and lots of space in this part of the room. There's a big space here if anyone wants a little bit more space. Just, yeah. Oh, that's in front of the camera. Okay, then no. Yeah. Welcome to the Wednesday night class. My name is Vimokshamati. We'll start with saluting the shrines. If you all just want to stand up. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Dharmaya.
Namo Dharmaya.
Namo Sanghaya.
Namo Sanghaya.
Namo Namah.
Namo Namah.
Om.
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 Yeah, so we'll do a body scan. So let's have everyone feet facing that way and get like a soft cushion for your head. Like don't have one of the really high ones because it's not very good for your neck. So I'm going to dim the lights a little bit so it's not in your eyes. So feeling the body on the floor, feeling the places where the body is making contact with the mat, and surrendering your weight downwards into those places of support. Seeing if you can let the ground take all of your weight. No need to hold anything back. And we'll start scanning through the body, starting with the feet, the soles of the feet. Feeling places where the feet are supported by the ground underneath. There's the part that's making contact with the floor, and there's the part that's slightly raised, the instep. Might feel slightly different in quality. Using our awareness to trace along the toes. Feeling the top of the feet. Contact with our socks. Moving through into the ankle and the lower leg. Noticing any sensations here. And if you notice any tightness or bracing, seeing if that just wants to loosen, to soften a little bit. Coming into the thighs on both sides. Noticing any sensations here. Large muscle of the thigh. Softening any holding, any tightness. And coming into the hips, the pelvic area, the buttocks. Feeling the weight of this part of the body. Structure of the pelvis, protecting all the soft organs. Moving into the back, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back. And you might notice that in this part of the body we can feel the breath on the back of the lungs. A slight expansion, the back with the in-breath, falling back with each out-breath. And as we breathe out, we can just invite all these little muscles around the shoulder blades and the back just to soften and release. Coming into the shoulders. Breathing into the shoulders. And inviting a release from there. And we'll come into both arms, tracing your awareness from the top of the arm all the way down through the arms, lower arm, into the hands. And there's lots of nerve endings in the hands. So we can feel sometimes a bit more sensation here. Maybe some tingling, some heat. So it can feel really nice to just let the hands rest. All day they get so busy, writing, typing, getting what we need. And then we'll come back up into the shoulders again, and the neck, back of the neck. And the head, and the face. Notice if you're tensing anywhere in the face. See if you can soften around the brow, soften in the jaw. And then coming down back into the torso, through the throat, into the chest. Feeling the lungs expanding as you breathe in, falling back as you breathe out. And with each in-breath, the rib cage also expands a little bit. And feeling into the area around the heart, noticing what's here. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. Maybe there's some emotional residue. And maybe taking the breath here, breathing into the area around the heart, breathing out from the area around the heart. Softening and embracing. And coming down into the belly. Noticing any sensations here. You might want to put a hand on the belly, feeling the movements of the breath. And now breathing into the whole body lying here. And you might like to imagine that you can breathe in through the pores of the skin and out through the pores of the skin, filling the whole body with breath. And on the inhale, we're creating space in the body. And on the exhale, we're inviting a softening, surrendering down into the ground. Just breathing with whatever is here for you right now. However you feel, however you are. Breathing into it on the in-breath. Breathing out from it on the out-breath. No need to change anything. So everyone, let's roll over to the side before you get up, so you don't cause your body any extra stress. And you can push yourself up from the side. Yeah, so there's a little bit of space for those of you who just come in. There's a space here, there's a space here. You can maybe have somebody there as well. Yeah, maybe the space just there. Oh yeah, there's a space there as well, just at the back. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and let's move this cord a bit. Yeah. All right. Okay, so in these last few Wednesdays, we've been talking about using our imagination to engage with metta practice. So last week we talked about using our imagination to connect with a difficult person in our metta, and kind of imagining, trying to imagine maybe what's going on underneath the behavior that we find difficult, but also imagining that all of that is kind of just a covering, really. We can think of that as like a sort of ego covering our potential for Buddhahood, and that potential exists in everyone. And the week before that, I actually wasn't here, but Aditya Bandhu talked about kind of bringing to mind someone that we look up to or that we admire as like a way in to metta. And today I thought we'd work a bit on self-metta. So often that's the stage that people can find a bit tricky. And I've got a couple of ways in that we're going to work with. The first one is to bring to mind somebody who we feel genuinely has our best interest at heart, so genuinely cares for us, and someone who's quite straightforward. So sometimes like bringing to mind a partner can be a bit difficult because the relationships can be a little bit complex. But yeah, like could be, I don't know, like a very loving grandparent or a teacher or like somebody, it's very straightforwardly, like we feel really has our best interest at heart, really loves us, really cares for us, really, really wishes us well. Another option is to bring to mind the Buddha or a Buddha figure. You can use any of these. So depending on what your relationship is to the Buddha, but that could be a figure that we bring to mind. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna imagine kind of being in relationship to this figure and imagine them kind of looking at us, and we're just going to be receiving that care and that well-wishing. And then in the second half, what we're going to do is we're going to use that to help kind of direct it from us to us a bit more, if that makes sense. So has everyone got somebody in mind that we could use for this practice? Yeah. Any questions? Because it's going to be quite experiential. I'm not going to say very much. I'm just going to lead it through as we do it. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay. All right. Yeah.
I usually wonder what's the best image we should like visualize in our mind. Like
it will be the best one for you. So
it should be personal or.
Well, yeah. So sometimes we might want to try out different things, but so maybe the first, if you think about kind of someone who cares very deeply, who you feel very loved by, then what's the first person that comes to mind? Or it doesn't even have to be a person, actually. It can be it doesn't even have to be a real person. It could be it could be an imaginary figure. It could be it could be the Buddha, or it could be could even be a pet potentially. So it'll be individual. But if you don't know what to use, then use the Buddha. That's probably what I could start with.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Maybe like it's like a static visualization. So maybe something static instead of imagining a scene.
It doesn't have to be static. It can be
Maybe an energy, like seeing the metta as an energy. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a light.
Yeah, a light. It can be light for sure. Yeah. Whatever works for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever works for you. And actually that's a really good point, that not all of us are like that visual, and it doesn't matter, because what we're trying to do with using our imagination is we're trying to get to an experience. We don't need to visualize anything really clearly to get to an experience. So imagination can be like a sense of something. So like if you all let's do a quick exercise. If you all just close your eyes, And I'm just going to ask you to imagine eating a really crisp, kind of slightly tart apple right now. Just biting into it, feeling the taste. Okay, that's enough. Can you open your eyes? Did you all get a sense of that? Yeah. So we don't have to like visualize and see a perfect apple. Some of us might do, but we still can get a sense of that experience. Yeah. Okay. So let's set up for meditation. Feeling the shape you're making, your posture. And when we sit in meditation, it's like the lower half of the body is immersed in a warm bath, perfect temperature, full of your favorite essential oils. So you can really just let the legs and the feet relax, dropping down into the ground. And the upper half of the body can release through the crown of the head, so we can imagine that there's a thread pulling very gently upwards from the crown of the head, creating space in the back of the neck, dropping down the shoulders, tilting the chin forwards. Softening in the face, softening in the jaw. Releasing any holding or bracing. And bringing your awareness to the area around the heart. And noticing what's here, noticing how you are. And the first step towards self-metta is just to let yourself be as you are, to welcome whatever you find. If you can empathize with yourself, if there's anything a bit uncomfortable in your experience, can you acknowledge that with kindness? And then we're going to bring to mind this figure, this being who cares for us deeply, who feels a genuine sense of well-wishing for us. So this could be the figure that you brought to mind earlier, or if you want, you can use the image of the Buddha. So imagining that you're in their presence, and they're expressing their well-wishing towards you through their expression, through their eyes, the way they're looking at you, through their smile. And all you have to do is receive this. Let it in. How does it feel to be in their company? Where do you feel this in the body? Allowing the feeling of being cared for land in your body. And you might find that quite naturally there's some metta also flowing from you to them. So if that's the case, you can just let that happen. You can express your metta towards them through your being, through your expression, through your eyes. This being wants you to grow. Has your best interest at heart. Understands you and accepts you just as you are. Seeing if you can connect with that sense of acceptance, radiating from their presence, from their expression. And we can bring in the phrases. Receiving them from this being who cares for us. Wishing us well. And for the final moments meditation, we can find a way of saying goodbye to our figure this being that we've been imagining, and just sitting, being present in the body, particularly around the area of the heart. Just feeling the sensations here. Allowing whatever is here to be here. can come out of your meditation postures. We'll have about 10 minutes or so just to share. Well, first we'll share just a bit in pairs, how that was, what you noticed, and then I'll see if there's anyone who wants to share in the bigger group. Yeah, so just get into pairs. Yeah.
It's even numbers.
Where am I?
So is people online. Behave yourselves.
I really love that because I was just speaking to my Tara, of course.
My introduction was the first person to bring to my emotional research. So then I had to I was on one side for a bit and some on the other side. It was sort of like a second officially.
That's cool. Actually, I have thought about that. I must have
Yeah. So that's nice. Yeah.
So there's that internal
It's really nice to have, like I actually thought about Svajamati as well. I thought about Svajamati and Taras. So nice.
It's a lineage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Svajamati takes you to Bante takes you to the refuge tree, and Tara's on the refuge tree.
I just feel so fortunate to have just like very easy to access that in my life. And in my ordination retreat I did a lot of just like it was like a circle of people that I really cared very deeply for me that I would like bring to mind, and that was really grounding for me when I was having a hard time.
Right. Like having circles of protection.
Basically.
Not personalised protection.
And it just feels very easy in the Sangha. There's a lot of like these metaphor relationships.
Something very sort of obviously get that in family or something like that, but then there's always other attachment sort of complications with it. Whereas with increases, just ask this person had a heart response and say yes.
It's like visualization of it remaining
Yeah, like for no good reason. Just they've decided, they've said yes to.
Yeah, they're not getting anything from it. Well, I guess they are.
They are, but not, yeah, exactly. It's not mine. water and they're freezing your hands. So that comes a little bit of that thing about it should be a particular word in the English language for the pride that you feel when you see your presentees doing well.
That's really lovely.
And I sort of know what she means a little bit. There is
I mean, I find it like also with clients when I see clients. Gonna bring him back. I don't like the sound of this. Sorry. Okay. So would anyone like to share how you found that? All responses welcome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Hi.
I was just sharing with Emily that I questioned my choice of person, whether it was like the person was my great grandmother who's deceased, spirit. So, but I picked her because for me that's like the pinnacle of love that I've experienced. You know, that feeling of like I could do no wrong. I know God actually loves me, cares for me, all those things. But then it was quite emotional. Yeah. And then I went into this mental chatter of, was this a good choice? Am I grieving? Am I feeling sad? Yeah. It was very overwhelming. And so I was in my mind trying to figure out, and sometimes I was clear on it, like, this is the love that I'm feeling overwhelmed by. And then other times it was like, I'm overwhelmed because I'm now thinking about how much I miss her. And, you know, so I was like, oh, you know. But to be honest, before the meditate, when I was thinking about who I was going to choose, I kind of had a short version of that consideration anyway. Yeah. And I decided to challenge myself to just go with it because it is what it is, and like, don't be afraid of whatever comes up, and you know. Yeah. So that was an interesting thing.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Oh yeah, sometimes they can come together, can't they? Love and grief. Yeah. We open to love, and then we feel longing maybe for that connection. But that's okay, because I think if we're holding love in our hearts, we can also hold many more things. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else to share? Yeah.
I thought it was interesting what you mentioned about the light, and we also had a conversation about that because I find it difficult with the choice of people that always end up wrapped up in narrative and then get distracted and start thinking too much about memories or stories, and then one thing leads me to the next, and then I've lost just the sense of the person. So yeah, I like the idea of experimenting with that, or the Buddha, where it's a bit more neutral than I didn't do that this time. But
so that might be worth trying out. So picking like the Buddha, or someone a bit more neutral. And it's easy, isn't it, if we know someone quite well, to go off and the mind wants to find things to think about. And I think with all of these things, just I keep coming back to the body. So it's quite something quite primal almost about so this instruction of like when you see the expression of care in someone else's face, what's the impact of that, and then we can kind of almost like feel that in the body and like gently stoke that as if it's a fire, just very gently let that kind of spread out. We don't need a lot, we don't need to think about lots of different things, we don't need lots of different, it's just like that's very basic sort of receipt of care. But yeah, thanks for sharing. I think it's a I'm sure you weren't alone there. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Is the idea you meant to pick someone sort of unconditionally loving of you? Is that the kind of the idea? And is it that you are aiming to be unconditionally loving of yourself? Is that what we're aiming to get to?
Yeah, so having an experience of feeling loved in that way. And from that point of view, yeah, picking the Buddha or another Buddha figure in a way is kind of better because human love is not unconditional in that sense, but we can have moments of feeling that, and often it's with people that probably aren't the closest to us, but you know, someone who's in a sort of benefactor relationship towards us, maybe, yeah, like a grandparent potentially is much easier than a parent, isn't it? Or like a teacher, for example, because there's a certain side of that relationship that's, but yeah, ideally, yeah.
I noticed there's something like so in my case I picked my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed that while I was thinking of what you were suggesting of thinking the caring of that person towards me, I was feeling like I could feel his care for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like it's like an abstract thing to describe. It's like feeling his care. It's a nice thing to experience a new thing. Usually when I do metta, when I do the self part, I try to reach well to myself, but feeling from with this suggestion from another person, I think it makes it even better because it makes you can feel it, and I could also feel the bond with the other person.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I think doing this kind of practice can show up our blind spots a bit towards ourselves. Like I don't think we can really see ourselves that clearly. We often have parts that we think aren't worthy of that kind of care or love or whatever. But if we're kind of stepping out of ourselves, then yeah, sometimes we can access that in a bit more of a clear
you see
way.
from the perspective.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so we've gone 3 minutes over tea break time. So let's go and have some tea. Yeah, we'll do another version of this in the second half.
Yes, yes. Always mean the same. Because you think the other person.
22. Let's leave us on.
So why shouldn't we see it? Let's see what they say to do, and this is an example. Excellent.
So, I get started. You alright?
Yeah, I was just looking for any mobile mats in here.
Go for it.
Alright.
Yeah, go for it. So I'm gonna do another little imaginative exercise for accessing self-metta, and then we're gonna do a full metta bhavana practice, 5 stages. Yeah, and that's probably all we have time for, I imagine. Might do a mantra at the end if I feel like it. We'll see. Yeah. So the metta bhavana practice really, it kind of builds on self-metta. And self-metta doesn't have to be like really complicated, but the practice, all the other stages build on the first stage. So we do need to be in good relationship with ourselves, and at a very basic level, what that means is just being, just being with what's actually here, accepting what's actually here. Being with, there's so many parts of us we don't kind of want to be with our experience. That's why we get stuck in thought. We go in our heads, we don't really want to feel what's actually here. So actually, the first act of self-metta is just being in the body and feeling our experience, feeling whatever is here, and allowing, accepting, empathizing if that's difficult. And then all the other stages can come from that, because if we're not connected with ourselves, we could feel well wishing for a friend, but it's got a certain superficiality to it if it doesn't come from a sort of connection to our felt experience, to our hearts. It can get a bit heady, maybe. So at a fundamental level, it is just like, feeling your body, feeling your feelings, allowing them to be there. So what we're going to do now in this second half is, if you found that first exercise we did useful, to bring in like a sort of, we could call it like a benefactor, or someone who cares for us deeply, or bringing in the image of the Buddha. You can still use that. Another thing that I'm going to introduce is actually seeing yourself from the outside, meeting yourself. So you come into the room, you see yourself, and connecting with yourself as just another living, breathing human being who struggles in their lives from time to time, who wants to be loved just like everyone else, who other people love. So just kind of connecting with ourselves in that way, and seeing if we can give ourselves what we need. If I imagine myself sitting here and I sort of look at myself from the outside, like, what does this being need right now? Maybe it's quite a simple need. Maybe it's just a need to just be still, to just let myself be, or maybe there's a need for a bit more warmth, a bit more care. We could give ourselves a hug. That's quite nice. Yeah. So, we'll do a slightly longer self-metta stage, then we'll build on that, and you can bring in, in a way, you can bring in these techniques in other stages as well. Like if you're struggling with metta for neutral or difficult person, you can imagine, well, how would the Buddha see this person, for example, or how would the people that love them see this person? Okay, any questions? Should we go?
That's a question.
Yeah.
When I learned the metta bhavana, I was told to avoid people of other genders. So kind of always just concentrate on keeping, like it being male. Each stage is male. But I find there's other people in my experience that are of other genders that probably need maybe some other kind of, and also difficult people of other genders. But I don't bring them into it because I got told not to bring them into it. And I don't know whether, I've heard like a few people say, no, that's not. And then some people say, yeah, and I could try and avoid it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I suppose like I think my tendency towards these things is what's the underlying principle? Like what was somebody trying to get at when they're giving that instruction? And I think it's just it's probably what I'm imagining. I don't know who told you that, but it's separating out metta, which is a kind of a different type of emotion, or if it's like a sort of quite a clean well-wishing from maybe what can be a bit more sticky, romantic stuff potentially.
It's definitely not romantic. What I'm thinking.
No. I'm not saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. My guess would be that whoever told you that.
I felt like maybe it encouraged you not to get.
Yeah.
That. But I feel like now I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then that's fine, then, isn't it? Then that principle doesn't really apply anymore. And it might be an instruction that's particularly helpful when you're teaching someone the Metta Bhavana, like for the first time.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, because
distinguish the people.
Most of us think, okay, love, then we have love is this. But once you can kind of distinguish what metta is from that, I mean, I bring in whoever I need to bring in, really. So feel free, I would say. Right. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, Savannah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's the principle. You know, it is the principle is you're trying to open your heart up to each being. Yeah. And I actually haven't heard that said before, any people saying don't bring any gender into any of that. But
it was here.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it might have been. I mean, sometimes it's just for the second. I sometimes say it for the second stage. You know, for somebody that you like don't pick someone that you like. You know, if you're heterosexual and they're the opposite gender, just because that can turn into something else.
Yeah, totally.
But it's definitely. I agree with Mokshmati. It's like with anything, you just got to keep thinking, what is the principle behind this, and how can I open up to that? So
Thanks.
Okay, so let's set up for meditation. Would you mind doing the lights, Savannah?
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, so we'll have a decent amount of time. We'll have about sort of 30 minutes or so to meditate, and I'll guide through the first part, the self-metta part, and then I'll kind of leave you to it for the other stages. But it might be worth I'm sure you guys know this already, but it might be worth picking now who you're going to bring into all the other stages, so that you don't have to worry about that when you're meditating. I'm going to read a poem as well. Okay. So, let's drop into the body. Releasing the weight down, remembering that image of the bath, the hot bath. The lower body can just relax and soften, and the upper body can extend a little bit upwards through the crown of the head. Just enough to create some more space in the back of the neck, in the chest. And connecting with the area around your heart. What's it like to be with yourself right now? Can you be present with whatever is here, whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Can you just allow it to be here in the heart, the area around the heart, abiding with yourself, in solidarity with yourself? And we can use the breath to help us be present with our feelings. Breathing into the area around the heart on the in-breath. Breathing out from it on the out-breath. And we can imagine that this breath is a loving breath. Breathing in care. Softening and embracing on the out-breath. Maybe the care comes in as light, imagining breathing in light to the area around the heart. Warm light. It could be any color of light you want. Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread. Give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Metta Bhavana, first stage. So the invitation is there to bring in, if you would like, bring in your caring person, or bring in an image of the Buddha. Or another option you could try is to imagine witnessing yourself from the outside, sitting here meditating. Witnessing yourself with kind eyes. With soft eyes. Like the eyes of a parent watching their beloved child sleep. Seeing what this being might need. What might you need right now? Can you give it to yourself? second stage. stage. as we bring to mind a difficult person, might want to think about how would the Buddha see them? How would someone who cares for them deeply see them? Fifth stage. love after love. The time will come when with elation you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread. Give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. That's all we have time for today. Nice to meditate with you. And if you would like to give a donation for the class, that's always very welcome. We'll be standing with bowls by the door. And hopefully see you next week. I'll be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Quotes, if you take the mats out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you. If you can help us clear the room, that'd be great.